And welcome back. This is race 2 of the penultimate European Super Touring Car weekend, and it's going to be reverse grid time. We saw who finished P10, and it doesn't bode well for everyone else in the championship. It's Marco Kubica who has, along with BMW, just grabbed this inaugural championship by the horns and just run with it. In the intervening time between this race and the last one, there was a 2-hour endurance race, Porsche Super Cup single make endurance race. Therefore, it was a 3-hour lunch for both myself and the guy alongside me, Michael Swinnerton. Good afternoon.
Hello, hello. Yeah, it was quite nice just to be able to sit back and watch some racing for a bit over a nice meal.
So to kind of just get everything in order here, obviously we commented both the World and the Euros. The news that we did kind of drip feed into the Nürburgring round was that the Swintech Mazda team are going to be taking up at least 2 of the pit berths of the European season for Mazda. But I think it's more of a works outfit than it is a Swintech outfit. Is that correct, Swinny?
Oh, absolutely. That was the deal we did with Mazda. Was they're happy to sponsor and fund and put all their resources and effort into it. But the compromise was that we run in the Euros because their budget isn't quite, or what they're looking to spend in budget isn't quite world super touring capacity, and they want to make more of a foothold in the European market. And Mazda's plan is a two-pronged attack. So we're going to represent the European outfit. They've got another team to take part in the inaugural Japanese series when that starts next season.
Yes.
So that's Mazda's plan, Emo, and we are very much looking forward to running a 2-car team. It's going to be nice to go, oh, look, there's a teammate car out here for once. So yeah, that's going to be all fun to look forward to, especially with the drivers we've got a hold of.
Will you be able to declare them right now?
Well, that's a big ask, isn't it? Well, seeing as you asked so nicely, and it was published earlier this week, so the cat is already out the bag, so to speak. Yes, we've managed to grab Ryan Camish from the World Series. He's going to come and help us get ourselves established in the Euros here, seeing as he has works experience with the team, so he's going to be our team leader. We've also grabbed from the Central European Hot Hatch Championship a brilliantly talented young racer by the name of Ellen Frentzen. She's going to be joining us, and from what I've seen her do in a BMW Mini, I am very much looking forward to seeing what she does in a 2-litre car.
And fingers crossed Camish's performances are better than they have been in the World Series that we've been watching for a good couple of seasons now. That experience should help.
Oh, absolutely. I've always said he's got more talent than he's letting on, or that his results portray. So the challenge now for me is to actually back up my claim and give him a good enough car to do that. But we've got on some brilliant race engineers as well. So again, I have every confidence in that.
Let's see how that boards next season. But for now, let's see what happens right now as the lights turn green. Rear wheel drive off the line as well, you know. Kubica is already gone. Dare we say what we want to say? Let's see what happens. Ingram and Tassi down the inside of Nilsson. Already a bit of mayhem, but everyone's still pointing in the right direction through turn 1. Tassi definitely, well, I was say definitely for second, but there goes Nilsson. They're still going to be side by side through this sweeper, as is Ingram's got an answer as well. Okay, so Tassi back down to 4th.
He started well enough, and I was about to ask, did he make a jump start with the amount of cars he passed? But maybe it was just that good a start, and he had a horde of front-wheel drives in front of him. But still, that was a lightning start from the Hungarian. Hasn't quite paid off, seeing as he's back down in 4th from with where he got up to 2nd at one point. But if he just gathers himself, rallies out, and then he'll be able to go again and make a second run at that. I'm sure.
State-of-the-art facility is the Deep Forest at Switzerland, as is most of the venues the Euros go to, and obviously they haven't triggered any sort of alarm that a jump start had been made, so there was a very good start from Tassi, even if it wasn't a false start. as the Swarm heads towards the hairpin for the first time in broad daylight.
Okay, that was nearly 3 wide into the hairpin for a second there for a few of those cars. Around it clean though.
Now Heidfeld in 8th. This is pretty much going to be key in the door for the BMW manufacturer title. Still too early to call that.
Oh my god, are we about to go 4 wide into the hairpin, lads? No, just 3 wide. Okay, that's...
Just 3.
Yeah,
that's still not enough.
Heidfeld getting completely run out there. We only lost 1 spot. He was in danger of losing 2. All the French cars down his inside.
And then all of the privateers behind. On board, Barbosa.
Barbosa did very well to stay in a podium position for most of the race. Granted, he lost it right at the end there. But showing that there is potential in that Peugeot. Yeah, we'll see what he can do in traffic here.
P6, few rear-wheel drives behind him, but then lost momentum. Heidfeld back up to 7th.
Just past Morris there. Don't know if Morris is going to have an answer for him going into the hairpin. And we'll also have to look and see if these Volkswagens continue to do very overtly slidey business into these hairpins.
Potential threat of Bianchi down the inside.
There it was!
Early slide on. Interesting.
It's almost like they're treating that hairpin like a rally car would by, you know, dabbing the handbrake to get the car to just instantly pivot. I know that's not what they're doing, but it kind of looks like it.
Is the rear wheel, I know it's not rear wheel drive, but the rear wheels on that car going to be hurting more towards the end of the race if they do that more often?
In theory, because they are sliding those tyres.
That was a bump and
that's
run
a mess.
On Hyundai #1 Tassi, but Gran Turismo's effort has landed him right back where he started because Liuzzi went through.
Liuzzi with the 2-for-1 deal there.
Not only a 2-for-1 deal, but instant karma on Gronholm for doing the bump run in the first place. We'll have to see what the stewards are going to be about that particular issue. They haven't had any major reason lately to hand out any stiff penalties. It's been a very clean season nonetheless so far. There's a couple of bump and runs, but to that degree, that was a bit of a surprise, I think. But you got Liuzzi now closing in on Ingram.
Part of the reason of that is drivers are encouraged to go and talk to each other about those sorts of things. So there's very much an air of, well, if you want to go down that road, you're welcome to try, but understand that there will be repercussions to it. And here comes Liuzzi, wasting no time getting back into a podium position after starting, what, 8th on the grid?
And
he's already in the 3rd by lap 3.
Has already capitalised on Ingram's downward trajectory.
Through, yeah.
Meanwhile, Nilsson isn't letting Kubica get off lightly.
Yeah, Kubica did pull away a bit at the start.
Liuzzi with the fastest lap, and that is just 4/10 faster than the lap Ingram pulled early on this morning. So the temperature, the grip, the Porsche rubber from earlier.
Well, the Porsche's also run on Michelin's, which is going to probably have an effect with the Michelin tyres that these guys are running. Granted, different compounds and what have you, but...
same tech.
Exactly.
Nilsson, visible closeness to Kubica, but Liuzzi also gaining ground.
Yeah, Kubica did pull away at the start, rather convincingly, but Nilsson has managed to reel him into a point where he's now keeping him honest, and if Kubica was, heaven forbid, to make a mistake, Nilsson would be right there to capitalise on it, and here comes Liuzzi. Man has figured out something about this track and wants to prove it.
Ingram, slightly different line through that hairpin. But Gronholm not doing enough to capitalise. In fact, Ingram's got back ahead of Gronholm since that earlier overtake. But here's Liuzzi now closing in on Nilsson.
Yeah, it takes a lot to get 2 podiums in one race weekend because of the reverse grid ruling.
And even cutting into his previous fastest lap as well. Something is definitely on for later, if that's the sort of momentum we're looking at right now. Interesting wide line from Nilsson there.
It's something we've seen a lot of this year, is both the Volkswagens and then to a degree both the Audis tend to run different lines through some of the corners at some of the tracks compared to the rest of the field.
And now the 1, 2, 3 is almost in the same shot.
They are right there. And there goes Liuzzi. Wham bam, thank you ma'am. Wasn't wasting any time about that. Can Liuzzi catch the BMW and race for the lead? Because he's certainly making a case for it right now.
Saw purple sector earlier, but 0.3 off that time by, but that is not, most of it is twists and turns through that sector. But as you can see, very close to Kubica at the hairpin. I think the projection of Liuzzi getting a fastest lap might still be on here. If that's got enough grunt down this particular straight.
Yeah, that Hyundai has got it correct. No fastest
There
lap,
we
but
go.
there's a move for the lead. And again, wasting no time, just like he did with the Volkswagen. Down the inside, sends it, full confidence, gets out in front. So Kubica, the man who has been basically unbeatable all year, has just been caught napping by a Hyundai.
And he's going to be keeping it calm as well. He knows what's up, knows what he needs to do. I mean, that was not worth defending, I don't think, given the performance of the Hyundai.
Yeah, and also if you're thinking bigger picture in championship, then it might have been smarter just to let him through.
Because already he is still not falling that far back. Nilsson hasn't closed in, and in fairness, Kubica is all grabbing all the shirt tails of Liuzzi.
Yeah, personal best sector time there from Kubica. So he's not letting it go without too much of a fight, even if he is thinking bigger picture. We know how good the BMW is on its brakes, as the Volkswagen just completely loses grip.
I wonder if Ingram felt the same lack of grip just then, because he is now being very much a cork in the bottle for the guys behind.
Yeah, lost loads of time there.
And Eidfeld.
Well, they're not close enough yet to be a danger, but there's definitely a very, very big gap between him and Nilsson.
And one of the strangest, unexpected fastest lap is McNish now on a 36.2.
McNish, who's not had a good weekend. He's been outside the top 10 all day in both races.
They'll get the 2 points for it though. Crumb of comfort. 3 wins from McNish so far.
Yeah, McNish has been a weird one because he fired off pretty quickly at the beginning of the season with those wins and has just sort of sank back into the midfield and decided that's his home. I'm not entirely sure what's going on there, quite frankly.
Ron Holmes still keeping up the best appearances. Renault just scraping into the top 10 after a very good race one.
They're basically pretty much where they started, thanks to their 1-2 finish, though Bianchi has lost, well, they've both lost a spot, as they are 10th and 11th rather than 9th and 10th.
Last year's World Spec cars have done well, but it's inconsistent enough to still look like bad news. There's McNish down the inside of Gavan.
Yeah, dive didn't work.
Bit wide.
Carried too much speed through the apex, and that's completely ruined it. And now he's in danger of losing more spots. Nice try, Rory, but not quite.
Back up to the midfield, and the other Audi, there's Grandholm, keeping Heidfeld honest. Here's the move on.
There's a dive.
Here's the move on behind as well. Barbosa and Morris side by side as well. Is Morris going to get
Morris
the
has made the move. Grandholm has basically got it done. Just depends on whether Heidfeld can come back through this technical complex here. There he goes. Not giving up just yet. He's got the inside for the next corner as well, so he's on the preferred racing line. There we go, back in front for now. Until Grandholm tries something else again, because you know he's going to. He does not want to give up on these sorts of things.
Gavan in the privateer Peugeot, keeping the Renaults honest. They're about to swap places.
Renault Civil War going on right here. Is Gavan going to push Capelli back in front? No, he's just going to back off and let them get on with it.
We just had Bianchi light up the side of his car there on the Armco barriers. Side by side. Best looking Renault display I've ever seen.
So I'd say that was full-on formation
Until
flying
they
with how
tapped
close
each
they
other.
were to each other. All they need is to be, you know, sending out red, white and blue smoke from that back of them.
So Liuzzi and Kubica are just pretty much gone now. That's the definite 1-2 that's on there. Nilsson in third, Ingram still fourth, but the cork in the bottle theory is still not showing any concise proof.
Ingram has now
Tassi.
caught Nilsson back up again, so it might now be Nilsson that decides to be the train driver in this regard. But that does mean that would require Tassi and Heidfeld and Grandholm and Morris and Barbosa, and to a lesser extent the two Renaults here, to all catch and form that train. They're not quite close enough yet.
Going to go around the outside of one of the Renaults then. Just a brief glimpse of something or other occurring. Never mind. I think the momentum had gone by the time we brought the camera back on to that particular battle. McNish still 13th.
As I say, if I was Gavan, I'd be more worried about what's behind me rather than what's in front of me, because McNish has clearly shown he's got something to prove and wants to be out from that midfield comfort zone that I said he seems to have found himself in.
And then, albeit that fastest lap, he's kind of fallen back into the sort of 38, 39 time slots.
Oh, here we go.
What a traffic jam we've got in store here. I don't know how we've ended up at this point, but gracious nonetheless.
Minimal contact, if any at all, so very well done to everyone there. Because that was a lot of 3 into 1 doesn't go, and they somehow managed to make it work. All vaguely in the same positions too.
Of Morris through that as well. And the Renaults have caught up to that train too. Ingram sort of still heading it with Nilsson, but there's Grandholm and Tassi having a fantastic battle. Heidfeld perhaps should have capitalised a little bit sooner.
Tassi now having a look at Ingram. He wants to get 4th place. He wants to be done of this and go join his teammate on the podium.
Kubica is still not letting this one go. Oh, now then. Heidfeld and Grandholm. Side-by-side contact. Was one of the tighter sections of the circuit. Not really any racing room, despite there being a decent width to that particular section of track.
Morris Gavan wanting to get involved. Having a go on the Renault in front of him. Now is Grandholm going to send it up the inside of Heidfeld here into the hairpin. We've seen one Audi try this already and fail.
Is it going to be switched back?
Grandholm keeps it tight, manages to make it stick. In the meantime, Ingram's managed to lose out to Tassi.
Yeah, that momentum of Liozzi's now, obviously there is some level of equality in that secondary Hyundai then, if it's going to be charging forward just as much as Liozzi's has. But still some side-by-side to be seen further back there. Bianchi on Heidfeld.
With a slight slide, that's going to ruin his momentum through the corner, allowing Heidfeld to get back in front. Don't think the Peugeot is going to be able to capitalise on it though, especially not through here. They keep trying to overtake through here, but in my experience, this is not an overtaking zone. Unless you run very wide like that.
Layouts, moves like that are going to take place. That's exactly why they try.
And this is exactly why this track favours rear-wheel drive cars, because stuff like that happens frequently around here.
Bianchi trying to look up around home, and then Capelli down the inside of Morris still hasn't completed that move. Now then,
lost a lot of momentum going around the outside of that large sweeper, and he's still not gained it back yet because there's already a gap between him and the BMW. He's under fire from this Renault. So that Audi's, I was going to say very good on the brakes, and then he completely missed the apex. So maybe not. Maybe he's just been a bit overzealous.
Ingram slightly wide at that hairpin. This puts perhaps a potential move on. Heidfeld is down the inside here.
Ingram squeezed out on the thing, and oh no!
That's too much of a squeeze. That is way too much of a squeeze. Yellow flags are definitely out. Heidfeld is up to 5th, but for how long we wonder. I mean, there is Gronholm's car right there, but I'm talking more of a long-term finishing position.
Yeah, there's making a move, and then there's pushing someone onto the curb, and Ingram, as far as I'm concerned, did the right thing and held his line on that curb, even if he did end up in the pit wall because of it. And that's going to be an interesting debrief.
Interesting debrief, especially after what I said at the start of this race about driver behaviour and any sort of steward exterior input to the race results. Let's just say, I mean, well, the results will still be the results. But what's going to happen by the time we head to Brands Hatch on that?
Yeah, I'm already getting a notification that move is going to be looked at by the stewards after the race is done. So that's very much a we'll deal with that later sort of thing. So for now, Heidfeld is 5th.
Heidfeld has always been 5th since that move, and everyone else is staying where they are, and we'll just have to wait for that particular result. By the time we get to Brands Hatch, no doubt. Liozzi still leads. That's not going to be affected unless Kubica's got a say in matters.
I mean, they are right next to each other, but they are so far ahead of the rest of the bunch now at this point. This is very much a two-horse race for the win.
Lap and a half to go.
Third.
And that's not going to go anywhere either. Been very clean from the Hungarian. And the same for Stefan Nilsson. However, Heidfeld has snuck ahead. Okay, Heidfeld, perhaps if it is going to be a time penalty, let's focus on getting higher up the race order and a bigger gap to anyone behind us, just in case a podium finish becomes a 4th or a 4th becomes a 5th or worse.
And you can tell we're at the end of this race because look at how loose the back end is on that Volkswagen. Nielsen once again trying to make an application portfolio for an entrance into Formula D.
All the circuit in the world to do it on, but none of the time to do it in. And well, I'm assuming we're trying not to. That move might have, I suppose, sullied proceedings because it's been a very good race so far. And no doubt it should be a very good race after that, but I think there's a bit of a sour taste after that move. And I think
definitely for the HPI boys who were looking forward to another top 10 and making more inroads on the Lloyd's team for privateer points efforts, but that will have all gone to nothing now.
Yeah, I think the projected gap now is 5 points on the privateer team standings, the way things are going. But in fairness, as far as the privateer drivers is concerned, Ingram is still looking very good thanks to that win last time out in the Nürburgring. Last lap, 1-2.
Not making it easy for Liuzzi, but Liuzzi wants this win.
Now, Heidfeld is closing in on Tassi. That's the other Hyundai BMW battle at this point. But I wonder.
Yep. Hyundai BMW. 2 sets of formation flying here. One following the other.
The time penalty theory is still looking very good for Heidfeld, but it just depends if that's the penalty that's issued by the time we declare the news at Brands Hatch. But Kubica, almost a move on there, but I think that is going to call it for now.
Yeah,
what a drive! And in fairness, had the qualifying been any good, perhaps we'd be seeing Liuzzi with 2 wins rather than the first win for the Italian and the second win for Hyundai this season. Well done to Gianni Liuzzi. Marco Kubica, apart from any mathematical mayhem, we may as well call it now. That is your European champion. Tassi has fended off Heidfeld, but we're going to ask, is Heidfeld going to be even 4th after that race? Nilsson on track 5th, and everyone else on track still close. And, well, it's still going to be Ordonez there at the back. Early season out input. I mean, he managed to get some points in race 1. It's just a shame that hasn't carried forward throughout that season, and he'll be looking. Still being very professional, of course.
Oh, absolutely. I think Ordonez's best chance now, or best opportunity for him, is to maybe a hot hatch series somewhere, maybe a cup series somewhere, or a one-make series. Like, he's got the talent to be on track in real life. He's certainly proved that. But maybe this was just too much of a deep end to dive into to begin with.
And yeah, I mean, I think you'd agree with this. If it wasn't for that move with 3 to go, that would have been the best race of the season.
It would have been a very good race of the season, and also something else that race 2 proved was that despite race 1, Deep Forest is still a track that prefers rear-wheel drive cars, as the top 4 positions were all rear-wheel drive cars. If Vettel had finished 5th by some miracle, you would have had all the rear-wheel drive cars on the field in the top 5 spots there.
There is a 104-point gap between BMW as a manufacturer and Hyundai behind them, and effectively projected total points, including the fastest lap in both races, would be 104. So that's, I think, mathematically, but to a degree, as long as I hasten to add that BMW will finish outside of the points at Brands Hatch for at least one of the races. That's not going to happen. Both championships have been rendered decided at this venue. So congratulations to Kubica, congratulations to BMW, and it's going to be a bit of a party atmosphere at Brands Hatch for the final round. So we'll see you there. On behalf of Michael Swinnerton, this is Adrian Michael Rees. Good racing, everyone.